Virgo, Ashley here. We're going to do your reading for the week of May 9th. We're going to look at last week. Let's see what we're getting. We have broken open. So you might have had quite a bit of a shakeup during that last eclipse. We'll see what that's about. This week we have come to the edge in the reverse. So there's some sort of fear getting dredged up here. There's some sort of fear about taking a leap of faith, because upright, this card is like the Fool energy, right? It's taking a leap of faith. There's something you're afraid to do here. We're going to see what that's about. This next week we have the Knight. Be brave and honest. So we're having to communicate something, we're having to take that leap, but maybe we're hesitating a little bit, and perhaps it's because we've been hurt before. So we're going to take a look and see what this is all about. Virgo, be sure to check out your other placements, especially if this is not resonating for you. And if it is, hit that like button, share, comment, subscribe. Any activity you put into the channel is helpful, and I appreciate it. So let's check this out. Now keep in mind, we're kind of in this interesting energy here. We've just had an eclipse this first week of May. We're feeling the effects of that. And at the end of this week, we have another eclipse. So we're kind of in a tumultuous time, astrologically and energetically right now. Let's see what's going on. We have the Six of Swords, Six of Pentacles, and the Five of Pentacles. The Ace of Swords. So you've definitely had to cut something out and move on from something in the past, and I don't know that you wanted to. We have the Sun and the Ten of Cups. We have the Three of Cups, the Two of Wands, and the Four of Swords. So it does feel like, to me, you're afraid to take a risk on something here because you have been hurt in the past, and you've had to kind of move on from something that you didn't want to move on from. I feel like you had to set yourself free from something. Now, it looks to me like there's actually a lot of potential here for really good things, really good outcomes from this leap of faith. However, it looks like this next week you're actually talking about it. You're talking about a fear of loss. You're talking about a fear of rejection. You're talking about what it's been like to try and heal from something from the past. And so for some of you, this could be about reconciling with someone from the past, coming back together, and you're fearing doing that because of what you've been through. For others, you've had to cut yourself away from something. Maybe there was a third party, maybe you were betrayed, right? And while this potential that's showing up here has a lot of joy and happiness and love associated with it, you're at a crossroads about this. You're not sure, and you're definitely trying to tap into your intuition to know whether or not to give energy to this particular thing. It does feel like it could be a Leo for some of you. We also have a lot of air here. But I feel like you're going to come forward. You're going to kind of put yourself out there. You're going to be vulnerable about how you've been hurt in the past. And I do feel like just expressing that, verbalizing that, is actually going to provide a lot of healing for you. Now, this could be someone you haven't been speaking with, if it is someone from the past. We'll see. Bottom of the deck, we have the Seven of Pentacles, Wheel of Fortune, Judgment. See, look at this. You've been waiting for this person to come back. You've been waiting for this person to come back. For some of you, right? If this is a reconciliation, you've been waiting for this. If it's not, you've definitely been waiting for something to speak to you, something to call to you, to really strike your fancy, to kind of shake your bones, like, so you know that it's for you. And it feels like that's showing up, and yet you're still a little nervous about going for it. You know, there's a lot of stress, regret, pain, having to walk away from this. Maybe it wasn't moving fast enough for you in the past. Maybe somebody was slow to commit in the past. But there's loss here. There's loss, there's grief, there's stress. It's not been an easy road that you've been on here, Virgo, and it does feel like your heart was broken. And look, we got the Strength card. So we do have some Leo energy showing up in your reading here. You might want to check out the Leo reading. Alright, let's clarify. Let's see what this thing is that sort of shattered your heart space here in the past. Now, what this actually feels like to me is that in the deep past, not last week, but in the deep past, something ended. You had to kind of cut your losses and move on from it. But this Three of Cups showing up here, though, it's like somebody's kind of walking back into your life and wanting to communicate their truth. And perhaps their truth is, hey, let's get back together. I gotta say that there was a lot of reconciliation energy in the Taurus reading, so it could just be that, you know, we're in Mercury retrograde. People are being kind of haunted by the exes right now, right? We're in that pre-shadow period, so not shocked to see this. Let's see, Six of Swords. Okay, these want to come out together. Seven of Cups and the Star card. Uncertain if this is something that can be healed. This might have been somebody that made you an option in the past. If you're dealing with someone that put you in a third party, they made you an option and you had to leave the situation. You're not so sure if you should return to this person. It could be an Aquarius, doesn't have to be, but I do feel like you're still trying to heal. And you might still be in that place where you're healing and you didn't really get closure, right, from that situation. Now, typically, when we're talking about closure, that's kind of like an ego thing. We want closure to get peace of mind, right? And most of the time, we don't get it. Because we're dealing with another human that is flawed, just like we are. So, a lot of times, we don't really actually get closure most of the time. We have to give that to ourselves. And so what I'm feeling here is that even as you walked away from the situation, there was still a lot of unanswered questions. There was not very much explanation. There was confusion around why this even happened. Or what the details really were. Like maybe you only had part of the information, but the only part you had was that you had to get yourself out of there. Let's see, what's this Ace of Swords? We have the Five of Swords. So you kind of had to get yourself out of the BS. Two of Pentacles. And perhaps a juggling situation. But it does feel like this was a decision you had to make that you weren't happy to make. You didn't want to do this. You didn't want to have to do this. It's like it was happening and you were kind of forced to either, you know, be in a really crappy situation or leave somebody that you care about, right? With the Three of Cups, we have the Strength card. And the Five of Pentacles. So this situation, if you were put in a third-party situation, it really did a number on your confidence. It messed with your head. It messed with your confidence. You're not so... If this person has come back in and is communicating that they are choosing you at this point, you're still like, what? I'm hurt. I'm still hurt. I feel rejected. You left me for someone else, or you cheated on me, or whatever it is, right? And it did And I do feel like you had to kind of like hold yourself back. There might have been a part of you in the past and currently that is really yearning for validation from this person. And I feel like it's because they, poked at your trauma, your abandonment wound. They like stabbed it in the heart by either leaving you or cheating on you or betraying you in some way. And you've kind of had to go it on your own here to heal, to deal with the unanswered questions, all of that. It's been a rough go. If this is an experience that you've had and not a relationship, it does kind of feel like the universe just stepped in and shook things up, and you didn't really have a choice about, maybe you even had to move homes, but you were definitely in a situation that wasn't ideal for you, and maybe you even know that. Maybe you know that, your life before wasn't like super awesome, but it was secure, or there was something about it, like you knew it. And so maybe you weren't quite ready for that to be sort of thrown up in the air and into a tornado, but it happened and you had to kind of just cope with that. I do feel like if that's the case, you might have lost friends along the way. There might have been, some ego issues in the friend department. This could have been family as well, right? Where you were just really feeling beat down by other people's ego, and it's rough. Like, you've definitely been broken open, right? So while that's not always a pleasant experience, it does force that heart chakra open, and you're kind of forced to deal with any of these bad feelings that come up as a result of that. But inevitably, after the healing has happened, you will have a much bigger, more tender and compassionate heart and loving space within you. It's a journey, right? Let's look at this fear that's coming up here. We're having a fear of taking a leap of faith here. It does, to me, feel like a reconciliation is being proposed here, but this could be a new relationship. Let's check it out. Six of Pentacles. Ooh, yeah. Fears. We're terrified to give our energy to this. What if it's going to be toxic like the last time? There is Leo all over this reading, so I do feel like there's a giant sexual attraction to this person, and that's why it's also difficult, because you're like drawn to this person, and yet you've been burned, right? Let's look at the Sun. 9 of Cups. I feel like on a heart level, you really care about this person. Yeah, look at this Queen of Cups. There's a lot of love here for this person. You already know this. You've known this for a long time. Perhaps what's being communicated here is that it's reciprocated. Because I do feel like there's someone approaching you, likely a Leo, that is starting to reveal that. They're like, I love you. You are my person. You're my dream come true. I messed up. I want to contribute to this connection. I want to choose you as my person, and yet you're hesitating because it didn't work out for you in the past. You got burned. You got left in the dust to deal with all those unanswered questions, all that confusion. Your confidence was knocked. Let's look at this Two of Wands here. This is that crossroads energy. We have the Death card. And the Six of Wands. Yeah, we're definitely having some questions here about whether or not to let this end with that Leo energy showing up again. Or does it have a potential here for rebirth and for success? So you're sitting at this, You're sitting at this crossroads, afraid to take this leap. Let's look at this next week. We're kind of getting honest here. We're talking about our feelings. We're talking about our fears. 5 of Pentacles. Rejection. We have the 7 of Pentacles. And the Sun. Yeah, we're talking about, okay, so if I let you back in here, is it only a matter of time before you do this again? I've been waiting for you, and this whole time I have felt like you weren't choosing me. Because they weren't, right? Like, you weren't a priority to them in the past. And I feel like you're saying this. You're saying, it sucked. I was left out in the cold. My dreams were squashed. And now here you are. Like, yeah. 10 of Cups. We have the 6 of Pentacles. Again, I do see that there is potential here. But you're going to have to use that intuition to decide. And it's funny because right as I was about to say, you're going to have to use your intuition here in this decision, because ultimately, I feel like it's going to be difficult because there are so many fears coming up. Getting in touch with that intuition is going to be kind of difficult because your ego, your head, your fears are really getting stirred up here. Ultimately, I think you already know that you have deep love for this person, that you wanted to give to this the whole time. That never changed for you. It was them that made some bad choices here, right? And so you're just kind of, there's uncertainty around whether to give to this. And I do feel like you're communicating that to this person. Let's get some more on that High Priestess. That's some Pisces energy there. We have the World card. I feel like on some level, like in your gut, there's this knowing here about this ending. So if you knew it was coming to an end, there was something about this situation in the past that on some level, your intuition was telling you, right? Or if that didn't happen, and that was a total shock, there were no red flags, that totally blew you apart, it feels like perhaps your intuition is at this time saying, it's over. It's over, it's over, it's over. Let's look at the 4 of Swords. So, of course, take that as it resonates for you and make your own choices here. Follow your intuition. And if those fears are so strong that you're having a hard time connecting with it, then take a step back, right? Recognize that the choice here is yours. You don't have to make any specific choice, right? And take some time to slowly connect in with that intuition. Give yourself some space. This person can wait, right? With the 4 of Swords, we have the King of Pentacles and the Knight of Swords. So I do feel like we're talking here about, there's a lot of conversations here about the silence that went on in this connection, the commitment that was broken. Perhaps what you're communicating here is that for some of you, there's already someone else in the picture and you're like, nope, this is over because I've already met somebody and they're more stable. That King of Pentacles energy, that's Taurus, that could be Capricorn, Virgo, it could be another earth sign, but it feels to me like you're flat out saying, stuff has to be stable. I can't just wait around for you to bail again. I can't give my energy to something and pour myself into a connection and then you run off with Sally or Bob down the street and put me in a third-party situation. You know? And I just saw the Seven of Swords and the Ten of Cups. It's like you aren't willing to take a leap of faith on someone that's going to take a leap of faith on just anything with legs that walks down the street. So I do feel like there's some serious conversations happening here. And I do feel very strongly here, Virgo, that you're the person in the place of power. So even if there's fears arising here, recognize that they're just fears. You know, they're false evidence appearing real. There's nothing here that's saying that you have to return to a past situation. In fact, that's actually impossible, right? Because you've already been through this. You've already learned some harsh lessons. There's no way to repeat this unless you completely ignore your own gut instinct and you just walk right back into it. You know what I mean? So you're in this position of power. This person is the one waiting to receive your decision, your response. So, you know, I do feel like there can be some healing here just in expressing yourself. Just activating that throat chakra could be very healing for you. That might not mean that it's healing for the connection, right? Because for some of you, you're not going to go for this. You're gonna tell your side of the story, and that's gonna be that. So it does look like it's kind of still up in the air here as to which way this will go, and perhaps that's because it's different for each one of you. But that's what I got, Virgo. I hope that was helpful. And hang in there. If this is your story, I do feel like things are improving here. I feel like you're going to speak up for yourself, and we're going to get out of this fear that's showing up. And that is kind of part of this Scorpio eclipse energy. We're having to release toxic crap. I mean, that's the South Node in Scorpio, right? So, it will pass. I'll see you next time. Thanks for being here. Bye.